conversation.
That's
as opposed to teach me in 5 minutes all about racism and make me feel good. You would never go to somebody and say, teach me Russian in 5 minutes.
Make me feel good about it.
Yeah, and I will tell you, and Reverend Jackson will tell you, the history of race relations in this country is as complex as Russian. So if you would never go up to somebody and say, teach me Russian in 5 minutes, and by the way, don't offend me when you do it, you wouldn't say that to me on race. So now we can start joking with each other a little bit more because we're in a circle where people now really do want to know what to do. I think we have to discover what to do and co-author what to do. Last thing I'll say is this, what I've now become aware of, and you were talking about this earlier, and now be quiet.
Please no, be quiet.
There's an irony. There's an irony here that I wasn't aware of until this week. I think there's an irony. We're trying to confer a benefit to our white sisters and brothers. I think they think we're trying to take something from them. We put them down in the past, maybe they're gonna come back and abuse us and mistreat us or whatever. Look, there's some anger that has to be worked through, and anger is justified given our situation. But the irony is, the skill set and the mindset of the 21st century is what we're trying to confer to our white sisters and brothers. Our white sisters and brothers all too often have been taught the mindset of competition, domination, victory, achievement, accomplishment. They haven't been taught the mindset of empathy.
Yes.
That's a different mindset. Now, if you're Black, you have to code switch all the time, so you have to understand how white folks think, how you think, whatever. So we are very skilled at that. White folks less skilled at that, but there's a mindset of empathy that we are trying to confer. The precursor to being a good anti-racist, you have to have empathy. And there's a skill set. The skill set that most of our white sisters and brothers have been taught is present, speak, talk, debate, argue, not listen. Women are the masters of the deep listening that we need to learn. And so there's a 21st century mindset of empathy and skill set of listening that if we are successful at conferring that, you're gonna be the best husband ever. You're gonna be the best mom ever. You're gonna be the best salesperson. You're gonna be the best neighbor. You're gonna have happiness and joy. White people are trapped. White people are constricted. White people are smaller than they have to be this unconscious. You have to just be unconscious. And so there's a freedom for everybody that we're aiming for. And that to me is something that is ironic. They think that they're fighting to keep us from being free at their expense, but our unfreedom comes at their expense. None of us are free in this system. And so I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the conversation. I think if everybody's willing to do their homework, Google is a powerful tool. Find your own books, read them, do documentaries. Come tell me what you think about James Baldwin, and Octavia Butler and all our great thought leaders, and Toni Morrison. And then we can have we have to have equality of discomfort. We have to have equality of discomfort. If I'm going to be uncomfortable every day in a white environment, in this conversation, you have to be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable too. And an equality of effort. I've been trying my whole life. And if we can have that kind of equality, I think we'll get somewhere.
First of all, thank you. Bishop Jakes shared the concept also, you said at the beginning of your remarks, about the idea of just being believed. That what we're going through is real, instead of, you're just angry, you have no reason to be, or, I think a lot of white people feel they're being personally attacked and they feel like they've not contributed to any of this. And so their mindset is, well, then you're doing the same to me you're doing to others, but they don't understand. I can even not tell you myself I've been involved in this fight for about 20 years, but I can remember in the beginning people talking about privilege, and, I worked my ass off to be where I am. And I was like, not all white people end up where I am. My privilege, what are you talking about? And that's what goes through the head of somebody who doesn't have your experience initially. I'm embarrassed to even admit, but that's what it was. And then you start seeing, as I develop more friends in the community that are there, they become dear friends, and witnessing things that you just don't see if you're not in the environment that I just wouldn't tolerate. But then also the deeper part of white privilege, the ultimate white privilege that people don't realize they have. I heard a friend of mine was saying that, privilege, we're not want to take away your privilege, we just want equal privilege. It's not about taking something from people. I think that's somehow what some people have in their head, because there's so much anger, which there's every reason to have beyond anger, total rage. If it happened to any person, they'd have this rage inside, to their family, to their friends, to their community. But I think the ultimate white privilege, at least for me, is that I don't have to worry about my children or my grandchildren being pulled over by a police officer, and is he going to take them out of the car or abuse them or kill them? And so I wanted to show for 2 seconds. I know you're a father of two, right? Don't you have two? Do you have two boys?
Yes, I do. You have two boys, two black boys and one single.
Yeah. And how old are they?
The big boy will be 16 this summer, and the little boy will be 12 this summer. So they're just getting into that age. Yeah.
How have you coached or dealt with your two sons, and what kind of conversations do you have with them to try and help them understand what's going on and have hope for the future? I'm curious, Van.
You know, it's I think a lot of white parents ask, when should we start talking to our kids about race? And just the mere fact that you can ask the question, that there's some time, oh, you get to pick?
Yeah.
What? That's never, it literally never occurred to me that, oh, well, maybe 8.5. No, I think 11.5. They live in these households. They hear this stuff. You know, even when you don't talk to them, the kids are smart. Kids are way smarter than we give them credit for. When you were a kid, you knew everything that was going on. You played dumb. And our kids are the same way. They know what's going on. And so, you know, it's something that what you want to do is to, first of all, make sure they understand that it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with them. That this is something that has been passed down, and that for them, what we want them to do is survive the experience and then let their dad deal with it. That's what we say. We just want you to survive the experiences and then let your dad deal with it. And they were gonna have a big, big problem when your dad comes to deal with it. But they don't have to have a problem. You have the problem with them, and then they'll have the problem with me. It has nothing to do with you. You're not losing any dignity. When you're surrounded and you're outnumbered, the wise man knows to retreat, and then we can fight another day. So we have to talk to our kids about just Art of War, Sun Tzu stuff.
Yeah.
At 8, you know, at 6. Because the other thing too is that the little kids are, you know, so as your big kid gets bigger, the little kids don't like to be pushed out the room when you're trying to talk to the big kid. So even if you try to push them out, or you try to wait until they go to sleep, they're listening. You see them under the door with their little ear. And so this is a part of it. And I'm going to say this, our white sisters and brothers are doing us no favors by not talking to their kids about race because they don't want to spoil their innocence. Well, what you're doing is ensuring their ignorance.